Hey everybody, it's Scott Scheller from Extreme Performance Training Systems and welcome to my morning mobility series. In today's video, we're going to look at a series of exercises for strengthening up the torso or the core to help to manage back pain and to strengthen the muscles that support the spine. So we're going to look at 5 different exercises. One is a stretching exercise, a flexibility exercise. One is a mobility exercise for the spine. And then the other 3 are strengthening exercises for the torso muscles. We want to make sure that when we're doing these, we're using an exercise to strengthen the front, the sides, as well as the back of the torso. All right, it's very important when we're talking about spinal health. So the first exercise that we're going to do is a mobility exercise. We're going to start out with the cat-camel. You're going to begin by getting on all fours. And from a neutral spine position, you're going to drop the head and the tail as you round the back. And then you're going to lift the head and the tail as you arch the back. We're going to go for about 6 to 10 repetitions. Make sure that you're breathing normally and relaxed as you do these exercises. Never holding your breath and never forcing range of motion. If you feel any pain during any of these exercises, just back off on the range of motion a little bit until the pain is reduced to maybe about a 3 out of 10, 10 being the greatest. Okay, let's do a couple more repetitions. And we're going to move into our second exercise, which is the kneeling hip flexor stretch. So now we're going to take a kneeling position. We're going to put our front leg out so that the shin is sloped at a downward angle down toward the ground. It's not back here like this, but rather it's out in front of us. Shin's in a downward angle. Then what we're going to do is we're going to push our hips forward while pulling the chest and the shoulders back so that we stretch through the front of the thigh here up into the hip and the lower abdomen. From here, we can even increase the stretch by reaching up on the side that we're stretching and turning away from the stretching leg. And we want to do this stretch for about 3 deep breaths. Good, and then we're going to switch legs. Again, that forward leg needs to be out so that the shin is pointed in a downward angle. And then we're going to push those hips and forward and down toward the ground as we pull back on the chest, looking up toward the ceiling. And then to intensify the stretch a little bit, we're going to take the hand on the side we're stretching, reach up into the ceiling, and then turn away from that leg. Again, for 3 deep breaths. Good. Now we're going to move on to our torso or our core strength exercises. And the first one is an ab curl. To do this, we're going to lay down on our back. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can have your knees bent with your feet flat on the floor, or you can extend the leg out while keeping the other one bent. This is just to help keep your hips in proper alignment. Now, one of the things that we want to prevent when we're doing these abdominal curls, which is a little bit different from a regular stomach crunch, we don't want the lower back to flatten to the ground. So we're going to take our hands, and we're going to place them under the lower back so that the only thing touching the ground is the tailbone, the upper back near the shoulder blades, and then the head. Now with the head, we want to tuck the chin back a little bit so that it's kind of retracted, keeping our neck in alignment with the rest of the spine. We want to avoid curling the head up as we do this exercise. Rather, we want to think of raising the chest up toward the ceiling. So again, our hands are protecting the lower back, keeping it from flattening against the ground. Our chin's retracted. Now we're going to squeeze our glutes and we're going to brace those abs as we raise the chest up toward the ceiling, squeezing the abs tight, and then relaxing back down to the ground. We're going to go for 10 repetitions, squeezing up, and then relaxing back down toward the ground. Make sure that you're not poking your head out in front of your chest, and rather that your chest, your sternum, is being lifted up toward the ceiling. And let's go for 2 more repetitions, squeezing the glutes and bracing the abs. And 1 more. Now we're going to move on to our side abdominal strength exercise. This is a side bridge. It's for the oblique muscles. Since we just trained the rectus abdominals, which are the front of the abs, you're going to begin this exercise. There's two variations you can do. I'm going to show you the more simplified variation first, and then if this one's a little bit easy, you can move to the more advanced variation. The more simplified variation is to begin on the knees. So you see I've got my knees bent, all right? I'm resting on the downside forearm so that my shoulder's in about a 90-degree angle, my upper arm 90 degrees from the body. My top arm, I'm just going to rest on my thigh here. And when I do this exercise, it's important that I keep my neck aligned with my spine. I don't want to let my head tilt side to side or look up or back. I want to keep my neck aligned with my spine so that we're maintaining a neutral spine position during this exercise. To perform the side bridge, I'm going to squeeze my glutes and brace my abs, pushing my hips forward as I raise them off the ground. I'm starting from a flexed hip position. So notice I squeeze and push my hips forward as I lift off the ground. That allows me to maintain proper neutral spine alignment as I do this exercise. We're going to hold this exercise for about 20 seconds. Squeezing the glutes, bracing the abs, keeping this neutral spine position. And then to lower the exercise, I'm going to push my hips back as I set my hips down. I'm not just going to laterally flex the spine up and down to do this exercise. Now we're going to take it over to the other side. Again, the downside forearm is braced against the ground. The upper arm is about 90 degrees from the torso. My knees are bent. My top hand is resting on the thighs, and my hips are in a flexed position. So in order to get them up off the ground, I'm going to squeeze my glutes, bracing the abs, pushing my hips forward as I raise up. Again, maintaining a neutral spine position with the neck and the rest of my spine. Again, we're going to hold this for about 20 seconds. Making sure to keep the glutes tight, keep the abs braced. Don't let the shoulder drop forward. Make sure everything is in this good neutrally aligned position. And then at the end of the set, you're going to stick your hips back, lowering them down to the ground. Now, with the side bridge, you want to start out with about 20 seconds and build up to about 30, maybe even 45 seconds before you progress to the more advanced variation. The more advanced variation involves bridging off the feet instead of just the knees. So when you do this one, you're going to set up just like you did for the one off the knees, except your feet are going to be on the ground instead of the knees. You're going to have your top leg scissored over and your bottom leg scissored under so that you're in a heel-to-toe relationship with the feet. Then from here, hands resting on the thighs again. We're still in that hip flexed position. To get up onto the feet and the elbow, or the forearm, I'm going to squeeze my glutes, brace the abs, push the hips forward as I lift up, and now you can see I'm bridging off my feet and the forearm, again, maintaining that neutral spine position with the neck. So that's the side bridge performed off the feet. It's a little bit more advanced variation if the one off the knees becomes easy for you. The final exercise in the series is the bird dog. The bird dog is going to be done by getting on all fours, just as we were for the cat camel. And then from a neutral spine position, we're going to brace the abs. We want to make sure that we're not sagging down or arching up. So it's very important you get into a neutral spine position. The head is looking down toward the ground so that the neck is in alignment with the spine. From here, you're going to brace the abs and squeeze the glutes, and you're going to raise the left arm and the right leg simultaneously until they're parallel to the ground, and then you're going to lower it back down. Let's go for 10 repetitions. Again, left arm, right leg as we brace the abs. You may find that your body's trying to rock side to side. It's very important that you maintain neutral spinal alignment as you do this. Good, let's go ahead and switch sides. Now we're going to raise the right arm and the left leg simultaneously. So again, from that 4-point position, maintaining your neutral spine, we're going to brace the abs and squeeze the glutes before we begin the exercise. Now we're going to raise the right arm and the left leg up to parallel to the ground. Squeeze for a second and then lower. And again, we're going to start out with 10 repetitions. For the breathing pattern, I like to exhale as I lift and inhale as I lower on this one. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. Good. So there you have it. Those were the 3 torso strength exercises for this specific circuit. Again, these exercises are to be implemented with the goal of strengthening all the muscles of the torso, the front of the abs, the side of the abs, the lower back, to help improve spinal stability and lower back health. So you can do these. I always start out with the kneeling hip flexor stretch and the cat-camel spine stretches first, and then go into the torso strength exercises. For the ab curl, I like to start out at 2 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. For the side bridge, we want to start on the knee variation, and we want to start with 20-second holds and take that up to 30, maybe even 45-second holds on both sides for 2 sets, and then progress to the more advanced variation where you're going off your feet with the same time progression, starting at 20 seconds and then moving up to 35 to 45 seconds. And then for the bird dog, we want to start with 2 sets of 10 repetitions on each side and build that up to 15 over time. Once you get to those upper limits of the repetitions, you can go ahead and start adding a 3rd set to the exercise, and these can be done every day for optimal lower back strength and health. Hope you enjoyed this morning mobility series, and we'll see you next time.